All right, so let's take a peek at our Euro Aussie as we go through our refocus list. Directional bias, bullish. Yeah, no doubt. In fact, this Fibo is also dated, so I'm going to delete that. So do we have a directional bias that's bullish? No problem. Where is the clarity on this chart? Looks a little 5-minute maybe a little 1 hour, maybe a little 30-minute. I mean, the best time frame right now, to me, the best two, if I'm looking at the Euro Aussie and maybe a trade for today, would be the 60-minute. Now it's looking like a 20. I'd go with a 1.2450 by, it's 24.32. Gosh. Well, I'm being a little piggy on both these, but I want what I want. You see, when it costs me, though, aka the pound Aussie, but the Euro Aussie here, I think if it pulls back to the major and minor psych levels based upon the 1 hour, I'd be looking at a buy. Swing buy. Okay, the clarity is best there. Now, I also want to mention, for those of you that are a little bit more patient and want to see a more significant pullback, likely one we are not going to see today, you can go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and park this thing in here. New order. I like the pending buy. 2 lots. It's aggro. 22.74. I'll go ahead and step out at 22.80. Okay. So 22.80 based on the daily. It's parked. It's a buy. Okay, so today I like the 1 hour. If you want to, go ahead and just change the background on it. You know, we've been doing that little lemon chiffon number on there just to remind us that, hey, yeah, we got a trade that we might want to try to see if we can get a fill on today on that Euro Aussie. But directional bias wise, is it on our list? Oh yeah, absolutely. Euro Loonie. Now back on the 10th, this pair wasn't on any list. Nope, I don't see it on any of our lists. And it's at best on the fresh list. It's got a 200 overhead. I'm going to pass. It does not make the criteria for our refocus list. Okay? Euro Krona. Or Krone. Euro Krone. Yes. Does make the list. Uptrend. I just want you to be aware. Take a look at the 5, the 15, and the 30. When's the last time you saw charts that look like this? That is a sure sign of a thinly traded pair. I know it sounds funny for me to say something in Forex is thinly traded, but this is. Take a look at the ticket. So we're talking about 45.48 by 45.54. This thing has anywhere from a 6 to 7 pip spread. On the high end sometimes. Here we're coming down more to like a 5 pip. So is it a pair that you will trade intraday short term 5, 15, 30? Not without considering your cost per trade. Okay, it's a little bit wider on the spread. You could see 6, 7 pips sometimes. 5, 6 is probably a little bit more common. But remember, once Europe closes, do you think this thing's going to get a little wonky? Heads up. Okay, but I like the trend. It makes a list. And we can trade it, for sure. Euro yen. I don't like I know that it's moving up. I could talk about it being fresh, but I will not put it on the list. We'll revisit it maybe at the end of the week or maybe early next week, but I don't like the euro yen. Euro kiwi. I do like the euro kiwi. However, again, go back to the 910 list. The euro kiwi was on the DB list. I still think it's on the DB list, but you have to put an asterisk by it. And you know why. 200 DMA. Overhead. Okay? But I will put it on the list. Just be cautious. In fact, if anything, what would be nice is if that 200 sends this thing down and gives us a shot at getting long. So actually, let's clean this chart up a little bit. A lot of it. And put some orders in here. I'm cool with this. 51.16, 56.60. That's a huge, okay. So let's see. That's a big space between my aggro, which would basically be a 57.20 fill, possibly. And then my 34 EMA is down around 50. That's a 70 pip area. It's pretty big. I think it's one to keep an eye on. And we will. And it does make our list. That's the Euro Kiwi. Euro US. Euro US. Uptrend, I mean, I don't think there's any question about that. I don't think there's any question about the uptrend. There's any question about the euro strength or the dollar weakness. It's just a matter of waiting for a pullback. I like the 4 hour for this. I think it's pretty realistic to get potentially a 4 hour fill on this chart. And I like the 4 hour for this. And a lot of it's really predicated upon 3,000 and then not straying too far from 3,000. Looks like we might see a visit down to 29.50, but it's all above the 200. The 4 hour is the nicest, most actionable. It's the 4 hour is the best combination of an actionable time frame with a realistic shot at getting filled. Because take a look at our daily. We're hell and gone from that, right? So the 4 hour is the best combination of wave clarity, smoothness, established, and even the 20 period here has been where the respect has been at versus the 60. So for those of you wondering, well, what about the 60? It loses out in the clarity criteria to the wave, and we can talk about these longer term time frames because we've got such a strong bullishness on the daily. So Euro US on the list. If you want to put a list down on today's action list, Euro US 240 minute. By the way, you can also, if you want, going back one, to Euro Kiwi, you know, it's a daily, but it's on that action list as well. You know, some of these don't have proximity, but we can start parking these orders, because one of the benefits of parking these orders is you don't lose track of those pairs that you do like, because they end up here on your pending orders list, and then you can remember, oh, I need to go modify that, re-examine it, reassess it. It's just right there in front of you for reconsidering. Okay, that's what's kind of nice about that action of pending and putting it in a pending order. And then at that point, with that pending order, comes the fact that it's in front of your face, and you're going to reassess and modify, of course, where your parked order is at. And that is the euro. So sum total of our euro, pretty good addition to our list here. Euro Aussie, Euro Krone, remember thinly traded, Euro Kiwi, remember you got the 200 DMA overhead, and then the Euro US. So our list so far Okay? Of pairs that I know for sure that we can actually trade on most platforms. Aussie Loonie, Aussie Swissy, Pound Aussie, Cable, British Pound US Dollar, US Dollar Canadian Dollar, US Dollar Swiss Franc, the Euro Aussie, the Euro Krone, the Euro Kiwi, the Euro US. Okay, so we get a pretty good refocused directional buy scan list here. Okay, the two you need to check with your individual broker to see if you have access to would be the US Dollar Danish Krone and the US Dollar Mexican Peso. Those are also on the list, but check to see if you have access to them.